Good morning, good evening. This is Mr. Carranza. We're going to talk about lesson number 3, which is due on Thursday, March 19. Before we get into that, let's go over some rules. We know our check-ins happen every single day at 9:30 a.m., but please know, especially for those of you who are just coming in new, that we are muting our microphones during the whole duration of the check-in. That just makes it easy for us not to talk over each other. And if you have any questions, you are writing those questions in the chat, so Mr. Evan and I can get to your question. If we tell you to unmute your microphone, that means that we want you to ask your question in front of the whole class for the benefit of all of us. Now let's get into the lesson. Also, even before that, if you have any questions before or after the check-ins, please feel free to reach out to us. Email, call, text, comment, whatever you need, especially if there are questions about the content. I still don't understand what heredity means. I don't know what genes are. I have problems in this question. I don't know what it means. Please reach out to us. It's just the same as raising your hand during the classroom. I know you guys weren't shy during the classroom, so I know you guys are not gonna be shy here either. Let's go over the lesson really quick. So we are still talking about heredity, and what that means is that we individuals, us humans, or any kind of organisms are gonna get our traits or our genes from a parent or two parents. And the reason I say one parent or two parents is because some organisms are going to reproduce asexually, and that means that only one parent is going to provide those instructions, those traits, those genes to the next generation, right? So the offspring that is created is going to be an exact copy, an identical replica of the parent. I know that sounds really crazy, but a lot of organisms like worms, some plants, and definitely bacteria use this type of reproduction. It's very convenient, the fact that you don't have to find another organisms to mate. You can reproduce quicker, faster. You can create more and more offspring. So it definitely has some advantages as well. And in the same way, sexual reproduction has its own advantages or disadvantages. We're gonna go over that in the practice. I know we covered it yesterday, but we're gonna keep just covering it today. There are some in the practice, you're gonna see some things that are underlined or highlighted. Please make sure you definitely pay attention to that, because there are some questions after it, and even before you read the questions, you should know that things that are highlighted or underlined are important. And that's just a good practice, right? To read your questions before you go into the video and to the reading, into the activity. We have a little game here today as well. Please go over the questions before you go into the activity so you know exactly what to look for. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention is that we use a metaphor right here. We use a model or an idea about a set of cards, about a set of Uno cards. The reason we use that metaphor or that image is because our genes are exactly just like a Uno deck, right? Like an Uno hand. You know that you have a deck of cards, you know what numbers are in that deck, but every time you shuffle it and you receive a hand, you don't know what cards you're gonna get, because you are making combinations, you are combining cards with each other. So every single time you get a hand is gonna be a different combination. Think about our genes and our traits just like that. The fact that we have two parents, we are gonna be a combination or both of them, or their traits and their genes. Now, instead of having a deck of 52 cards, we're going to have two decks of 20,000 genes, 20,000 traits that we can get. So the combination that we could have are endless, are limitless. That's one of the reasons yesterday we were saying that your brother or sister doesn't look like you, because even though you come from the same decks of one deck of Uno cards, the two sets of parents, your combination of genes or traits is going to be different from his or her combination of genes. And today we're going to learn that one reason we can visualize that is with genes. We have usually some trouble understanding what genes are. We don't know if they're real. What are we talking about genes? Is that physical? Is that, where is it found? So genes is just something that is found in DNA. Remember, when we say genes, we're talking about a trait, right? So traits or genes are going to be found in the DNA. And by DNA, we mean a long molecule that is found in each of our cells. Is our instruction manual. All the things that you need to live, all the instructions, all the traits, all of our genes are found written, literally written on the DNA. Isn't that crazy? Now, DNA, since it's very long, we need to divide it into little parts. Each little part, each little sentence is going to be our genes. So if a sentence says, you are going to have blonde hair, you are going to have brown eyes, you are going to have this height, that's going to be our gene. So little sections of your DNA are what we call genes. And like I say, we have 20,000 genes. So that means that our DNA is super, super long. Now that means that the genes or the DNA is just bundle as a single piece inside every single cell. No, we have little bundles of DNA, and that's the reason we're gonna use this word chromosome. Notice that the word is not highlighted in red. That's because it's not a vocabulary word that we should really keep in mind for quizzes or exams, but we're still gonna find that word in a lot of research that we do online or in books, and that's one reason that we should know about it. At least we should be familiar with it. So chromosomes are what we call bundles of DNA. And if you think of a gene as a sentence, a chromosome is going to be a chapter of the book. So we as humans, we have 23 pairs of those chapters of those chromosomes in our cells, right? 23 come from our mother, 23 come from our father. That's why we say we have 23 pairs. We have 46 chromosomes in total. And when we think about that, this is just an easy way to explain it. So this is what we're going to have inside every single cell of our body, inside every single nucleus of our cells. And one set is going to come from our father, one set is going to come from our mother. I was trying to visualize it also here. I was making a little drawing of a baby. So this baby comes from these lovely parents. And you're going to see that some traits come from the mother, some traits come from the father. We already know we get a combination of the traits. But if we were to look inside the cell of each parent, if we were to look, especially, let's start with the mother. Let's look up, wrong color. If we were to start with the mother, we will find that inside her cells, we are going to see some bundles of DNA, some chromosomes. We're going to have 23 pairs of chromosomes. I'm not going to draw them, it takes a lot of time. But if we were to look inside the father as well, we will find the same. 23 pairs of our chapters, our instruction manual for making those traits. Now, they are going to make this baby. And when they make this baby, the baby is going to get a combination of these chromosomes. What it means is that if we were to look inside the cells of the baby, we will find also some sets of chromosomes, but instead of having all the chromosomes or all the genes from one parent, that baby is going to have a combination of both. So one set from here, one set from here. Now, notice that I said you have one set from each parent. That means that you get a set or a pair or a copy of the same gene twice, and that's actually correct. You get a combination of every set twice. And what that means is something we're going to talk about it tomorrow, but just for today, know that we are already familiar with variations of traits, right? So we went around the classroom and we took tally of what variations of traits each person had. So we went around the classroom and we said, you have a free earlobe, you have an attached earlobe, you have a widow's peak, you have a straight hairline, you have freckles, you don't have freckles. And that's exactly what we mean by this image. We're getting two variations of the same gene. I know it's something that goes against common sense, but we're gonna study it more tomorrow. Just for now, know that when we're talking about variation or variance, as you're gonna learn in the lesson, we are talking about two variations of the same gene. So if this is one gene, each type of gene is gonna be one variation. Cool. All right, so we're gonna leave it at that. Remember, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We are always available during the day, and also maybe if during the night you also need some help, see if we can answer. I promise we're gonna answer. Give us 2 seconds to answer. That's our promise. Again, if you have any questions about the lesson, the practice, or the exit ticket, please reach out to us. We are happy to help you. We are here for you, and I'm always very happy when I hear your voices. Sorry if we cannot get in one-on-one every single day, but that's the world we live in right now. I hope you guys are doing fine. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to us, and remember to mute your microphones as soon as you get into the check-in. And you have a wonderful day. Bye.